Welcome to Curious Goldfish, a podcast community where music and curiosity come together through interesting conversations with the music makers of our world. I'm your host, Jason English. You can find Curious Goldfish in all the major podcast and social media platforms, and of course, we have all of our content on our website, curiousgoldfish.com. Hey, Alex.
Hey, how's it going?
I appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, so we're at 38 Songwriters Festival. This is a home game for you.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, right?
A little bit.
How, so you live here in the 30th part of Florida. What has this festival meant to you just as a music fan, but also as an artist, like through the years? Was it something that was kind of like, hey, I want to play there one day, or is it not, not really? Like what, tell me about that.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good question. So I came several years as just a spectator. And, I've always written songs and been a musician, but sitting down and like the way they enforce listening rooms here and stuff like that was the first time I've been a part of that. And, it gives everybody a chance to like digest the music versus just background music. So yeah, as a spectator, I was do this for sure,
Okay.
So it kind of sparked the more singer-songwriter part of me after being in bands and things like that. And yeah, not only that, but it is a home game. So all these artists come in for one weekend and I get a chance to meet, all of them without having to go anywhere, which is
That's brilliant.
wild.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. It wasn't calculated at all, but it really worked out for where I'm at now.
Okay. So I heard you it was last year at a late night sort of event that happens informally. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy can really sing, and it's hard to tell in that environment, the lyrics and kind of what it all means, but
Right.
I didn't really care because it's like, okay, this guy can really sing. And so we've kept in touch and you've been gracious to say, hey, let's do the podcast, let's get together, whatever. So thanks for taking the time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's exciting because you've got a bunch of singles that are about to happen and an EP this year. Is that your first solo release?
Yeah, first
project?
solo release. So I released, the first one was in October. It's called Understanding. And then about 2 weeks ago now, I released Hand Me Down, which is the title track off of the EP. So I'm sort of waterfalling out the singles and, playing with the Spotify algorithm a little bit.
Yeah, does it make any sense to you, by the way, the numbers and the algorithm?
100% not. This is, advice from people that seem to know more than me, that I've taken. Just, the more you get out on a consistent basis, just like anything else, I guess, the more the algorithm is supposed to pick you up. And they're doing pretty well, at least by my standards. So
yeah. All right.
Something's working.
Well, that's exciting. I guess this weekend at the festival, is it different now that you've got that out to talk about and promote? And
100%.
Yeah.
That was a primary motivation because, the last 2 years my band has music on Spotify, but like it's completely different genre and feel from what I'm doing now. But I would get off stage and people would be like, where can I hear that? I'd be like, man, one day soon, So I made it a point last year to kind of like get music out there. And I'm constantly just stockpiling songs and from a recording perspective, just so I can keep the momentum going.
Okay.
So
all right.
I flipped a switch and I was just like, we gotta get stuff out more so than just play them for people. So
do you have a preference about band and that music versus solo artist, singer, songwriter? Do you enjoy one more than the other?
It just depends on the setting. I guess that's kind of a weak answer, but
yeah,
like it's something like this, obviously I love the intimacy of, kind of understanding that people are understanding what I'm saying. Like you can kind of see it on their face. But I love to put on a show as well. Like my band Disco Tendencies out of Atlanta, I didn't even play guitar. I was front man. So I was up there, shaking it. And
just doing your thing,
screaming. So, yeah, I can do either, and I thoroughly enjoy both.
Okay.
It just depends on kind of what I'm trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to get into some of the songs on your solo stuff, but you're a little bit of an enigma because you're new to the solo world and there's not a lot of content out there.
Sure.
So I guess, what's your elevator pitch in terms of who you are as a person, husband, father, background. I think you're from South Carolina.
Yeah.
What's that? If I was to go 10 floors with you on an elevator,
Wow.
what would you tell me about yourself?
It's interesting because I've like played music my entire life. Started in the Baptist church in a small town in South Carolina, Loris. I don't know. I've always done the band thing, the cover thing. Music's always been a part of my life. And then it's strange because I feel like I'm doing it in reverse. But once I had my child, I was like, something flipped, and I was like, I need to get something out there. Like, I want him to be aware that I made a mark in some way.
Oh my gosh.
Because you hear it from people, you're like, dude, you should do this. Like, you should do this. It's in passing, but then I don't know, something about having him, I was like, whoa, he needs something to show for this. I don't know if that's crazy or not, but so yeah, I really started hitting it hard once he was born, which is insane from like a logistics perspective and a financial perspective. But here we are, and expecting another. So I would say, I think we already hit 10 floors, and I'm rambling, but
what's his name?
Hollis.
Hollis. All right, that's cool.
Yeah. It's an old family name on my wife's side. Mm-hmm.
But you are from South Carolina.
Yeah.
I guess, is that where you grew up, and how long have you been here in Florida?
Yeah, I grew up, like I said, in Loris, South Carolina, small town, sort of outside of North Myrtle Beach, so still coastal, and went to Clemson in South Carolina. Immediately moved to Atlanta after that, and was in a band and did that whole thing for probably 4 years, and then came down here in 2017. So been here for 8-9 years. Don't ask me to do math, but something in that realm.
Okay.
So yeah, we feel at home here.
Oh, yeah,
certainly.
this is home. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Which is strange because it's a second home to so many other people, but it feels good.
What's
really
the
good.
music scene here, like your opportunity to gig and other things?
It's good. You can gig as much as you want for sure. I'll be honest, I struggle with that because I don't want to like oversaturate myself in one area versus another. So I try to pick and choose what the best route for me to do is. I try to do private stuff and things of that nature. But I travel to Nashville half the time, so 1 or 2 weeks out of every month I'm in Nashville, writing, performing.
Oh, okay.
Doing that circuit, and then hope to I've already started booking some shows elsewhere, but hope to kind of get out in the Southeast and kind of grow from there. But
so the people that are in Nashville that I've talked to, there's this whole Broadway scene and off Broadway, East Nashville scene. So when you go up there, do you stay away from Broadway or
100%? Yeah. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you're, if you catch a wild hair, it's cool to see. Good people watching, kind of like The Walking Dead, like a little bit of a scary, vibe.
Yeah.
Just the way people are walking around aimlessly. But no, I stick to like hole in the wall dive bars as much as possible, and then most of the rounds are either in a bar or restaurant type deal, so it's a little more laid back. So yeah, I do both, but like very rarely will I go to Broadway unless I'm going to the Ryman or something in Bridgestone. So
okay. So you mentioned the Baptist church. Is that how much has that informed your musical mindset at you?
I'm sure it did subconsciously inform my worldview. But realistically, like, it was just the first time that I've sung for a group of people, and I could tell, it was making some sort of impact.
Yeah.
And it just stuck with me. And, I played every Sunday, every Wednesday night, for the longest time through high school and stuff. It's kind of where you get your bearings and kind of see firsthand that, people are enjoying it and getting something out of it in some way or another.
Yeah.
Either spiritually or just, music lovers. So, yeah.
I'm going to not really take back something I said to you the other night.
Take-backs.
Yeah, no take backs. But I think it's unfair when people say, "Oh, you remind me of," or "You're like so and so," because I think it's unfair to the person you're compared to and yourself, because you're Alex Rogers, you're not somebody else. But so one of the headliners this week is Amos Lee.
Sure.
You sound very similar to him. I hope that's a compliment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put it on my tombstone.
But he, I guess for you, how would you describe your music and your sound? Because it's a little bit bluesy, a little bit rock, a little bit
totally.
Yeah.
All the adjectives. Yeah. I don't know. Something I've started doing now, especially in Nashville, is I'll ask people like, what genre would you put on this?
No way.
Because I'm just trying to collect the right words. But yeah, I definitely have soul influences. Like my dad was outrageously obsessed with the Allman Brothers, so Greg Allman's voice is like imprinted in my brain. So I definitely have like soul influences, country as well, just from the fact that I am from South Carolina and I can't say certain words, especially while singing, without being like, oh yeah, that guy's from Southeast somewhere, you know? And then blues, of course, and then even like Motown. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it, but I think it's in the soul, southern rock, country realm.
I get that, yeah. The Motown thing's interesting, but it's true.
Yeah, totally.
I hadn't thought about that.
Just the way I hear music, I guess, is like that's what I am listening for.
Yeah.
Like a bass line and a groove.
Who do you listen to today?
It's a good question. I'm all over the map, but as of late, Marcus King has always been like a huge inspiration to me. Pony Bradshaw, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
no, but I've seen his name. Yeah,
highly recommend you take a deep dive. Just lyrically and production wise, is unbelievable. I mean, I still listen to the Allman Brothers, Sam Cooke. There's all sorts of things that kind of inspire me. But I'm a day to day. Like, you never know what's going to happen. I sit in my car and then something hits me. So now I'm going to, after seeing Charlie Starr last night, I'm going to be listening to Blackberry Smoke for the next 6 months probably.
That was so good.
So good.
That was so good. Yeah. We talked before, but I saw you over there and your head's bobbing just in the moment.
Yeah. It got me. It was good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
They, I've never seen them live as Blackberry Smoke, but the stripped down version of whatever that was that I haven't seen was incredible. So
yeah. You can only imagine what the
yeah. So like you're hosting in some sense everybody down here in your home. I guess if you had to make the call on sort of dictating one night that was like the Alex Rogers homecoming night at the 38th Songwriters Festival, what would be that lineup? If you had to pick like 4 or 5 acts.
Oh, like to be in a round with?
Yeah.
Ooh. Whoa. From acts that have already been here?
Yeah, or it could be anybody. Yeah.
Oh, anybody.
Yeah, anybody.
Okay. That's a great question. Okay, I'd throw out David Ryan Harris, certainly.
Okay.
I grew up listening to him too.
Yeah, he's not of this world.
He's just, I feel like, yeah, he would be in there for sure because he just has such a huge draw here anyway that, I could selfishly capitalize on that. But David Ryan Harris for sure. Lily Winwood, I don't know if you've gotten to see her yet, but I saw her last night and she's got a great vibe.
Yeah.
And then we'll throw in Shelby Ray, who's never played here, I don't think, but I've written with her in Nashville, and she has one of the most insane voices I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, I don't know her. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, she's something else.
All right. Well, so you mentioned Lily and David Ryan Harris, and we've talked about having you come up to Roswell, Georgia for a backyard house show that our friends host. Both David and Lily have played
cool.
that series, so that would be awesome to have you up there.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
I would love to.
All right, so I want to get into some of the singles on the album, and I guess as you started to release these, you had an opportunity to open for Sister Hazel. Yeah. Right. How was that, and how'd that come about?
It was incredible. The venue actually reached out to me via Instagram. Just kind of saw a video and was like, I was actually wearing a hat from a brewery that's located in LaGrange, Georgia. And they were like, does this guy live here? Like, they were just confused. So they reached out and I was like, I'd be happy to do it. But yeah, open for Sister Hazel and then Everclear, which was, it's a kind of a weird genre mashup, I guess, for me specifically, but great experience.
Yeah.
Especially in an outdoor amphitheater like that. It was very cool. Got some eyes on me and, just really appreciate that opportunity for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you get eyes and ears on,
totally.
it can't hurt, right?
Yeah.
All right. So on your Spotify profile, you talk about the EP and everything, and you highlight the fact that it's sort of grounded in mental health awareness.
Sure.
Right. And I think we're going to talk about all the songs, but there's Hand Me Down, which is, I think, a commentary around, I think, what is passed down generation over generation.
Definitely.
What's your ability to control and not control, right? And then Need I Remind You, great lyrics.
Thank you.
Which I'm going to read. And then Before I Knew Better, great lyrics too. So
Thank you.
is the Before I Knew Better, is that commentary about your parents?
Yeah.
I guess tell me about your childhood and why you're writing about it now.
Yeah. Definitely going to need more than 10 floors for this. But no, but effectively, I grew up with parents that were effectively just riddled with mental health issues and addiction issues and things like that. So just grew up. I mean, I know it's becoming more and more common that at least people are talking about this.
Yeah.
But at the time, it feels like, why is everyone else? So that is just kind of what spawned a lot of this EP, honestly, is just thinking about that and trying to like come to terms with it. But yeah, so, not ideal upbringing. I mean, there were good moments, bad moments, but then ultimately ended up like effectively being raised by my grandmother and then my aunt and uncle as well. So kind of blended family in a way. So yeah, just kind of, super dysfunctional and things like that. But at the time, well, Before I Knew Better, not to reference like the actual song, but Before I Knew Better is like a little angry. You know what I mean? Like before you're able to forgive or even like want to consider the forgiveness aspect of it. But yeah, that's a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I'll kind of read some of the lyrics.
Yeah, of course.
These are insane. So was this written by you exclusively, or did you co-write this?
Yeah, everything on the EP is just me.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I'm just starting to get into the co-writing realm.
Yeah, what's crazy is your voice is insane, and the lyrics are just like so good. So this is Before I Knew Better. When you're dependent on two dependents, you got to learn quick how to make sense of all the bullshit. And it goes on, it says, it's too late now to apologize. Trust me, you've been saying sorry my whole damn life. Or you've been sorry my whole damn life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you still have any relationship with your parents?
Well, my dad actually passed away early last year.
Oh, okay.
And then, no, don't have much of a relationship with my mother.
All right.
But yeah, so yes and no. I mean, I don't know. It's a rocky road.
Yeah.
And it brings up a lot of,
Yeah.
bad memories and things like that. So I'm trying to just like get centered around my own self. And now that I have children of my own, I'm just like, that's another level of, things to introduce. So,
Well,
short answer is no.
Well, it sounds like you've seen dysfunctional, and now you can apply that as a way. Okay, like I know what sort of not great looks like. and
100%. Oh yeah. I think, at times I think I might overcompensate. Like, but totally. I've seen it done wrong, so I'm trying to do it right.
Are these lyrics that have been in the making for 20 years, and it's like, okay, now I'm just going to put it on paper, or is this triggered you, and you're just okay, I need to like get it down?
That's a great question. Again, like subconsciously they could have been there, but Before I Knew Better, I wrote maybe in 20 minutes, just one day, kind of like fell on me. Just the phrase Before I Knew Better, and then it kind of grew from there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure it's been stockpiled, somewhere in the back of my brain for a while. And then Hand Me Down, same sort of deal.
Yeah.
I kind of tell this on stage, but I was watching a show, George and Tammy on Showtime, and George says the phrase, that's that hand-me-down sadness.
Oh, jeez.
And my wife was pregnant with our son at the time, and I wrote that in like 15 minutes flat. I was like, I just needed to hear that phrase.
Yes.
And yeah, it just dawned on me. And that was an attempt at being like, it was an attempt at like having pessimism and optimism meet in the middle, and just kind of realizing what could happen, but hoping it doesn't.
Well, that's a good story.
Yeah.
Is the song "Need I Remind You"? Is that a love song for your wife?
100%.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Need I remind you I'm yours? Need I remind you we've been here before? Put it all on me. Take it out on me. Whatever you need. Need I remind you I'm yours? Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's good. Like it sounds like you've got a good home situation now that you can build on. It sounds like that's growing and everything.
Certainly. Yeah. We're multiplying.
Well, tell me about so these songs are coming out. You mentioned it's like the timing with Hollis and you're like new inspiration for doing music. That doesn't really line up logistically. Now with the second on the way, new songs, EP,
Yep.
a growing fan base. How do you see that playing out in the next couple of years?
We are taking it a day at a time, to be honest with you. But luckily, my wife is super supportive and just says, like, go do what you need to do. So that's helped a lot, obviously. I mean, she's the backbone of it all, obviously. Even like everything I do, social media, all the stuff, all the logistics. I'm not an administrative guy. She is the backbone. So as long as she is, taken care of and has what she needs, I can kind of keep working at it and grow slowly, and then ultimately, I think we're even open to moving if we have to and things of that nature. But we got our roots pretty deep at the moment. So.
Well, I think you already answered this, but sometimes I talk to people outside of Nashville. I was like, do you think you actually have to be in Nashville to just do well in music? And, obviously if you're the ones that are in Nashville, yes, because of these 8 reasons. Sure. The ones outside of Nashville, it's like, well, no, not really. I guess you found a way to have a little bit of both.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. And I mean, I'm aware of at least 3 or 4 other people that do the same thing, just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, the answer kind of changes depending on who you're talking to, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think it's changed over time as well. I think back in the day, for sure, you had to be there. And I don't think it hurts to be there now, but just depending on where you are in life, I think it dictates whether or not it's worth it.
Okay. All right. Well, so I ask everybody this because the theme of the podcast is a few different things, but primarily being curiosity. So I guess at this point in your career and your life, what do you think you're most curious about?
Interesting. I'll keep it music industry. I'm curious just because I have these conversations when I get off stage and things like that. And it seems like I'm curious as to how aware the casual fan is that their social media interaction and streams of songs matter to artists.
Oh, wow.
Because everyone wants to be supportive, but I don't think it's like fully comprehended how important it is to interact with things and stream the music. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, and like music at this point is basically like our Bitcoin, and they quantify everything now. It's like they're financial analysts. So yeah, the streams, the number of likes, the shares, all this stuff is like the attributed value to our music and ultimately helps us the most.
Yeah.
But it seems to be a disconnect. I don't know if it's like generational or how aware you are of music. But I was thinking about this shower thought the other day. I was like, wow, it's like a stock, like you provide the value. Like, so.
Right. Well, I think, so a couple things on that, just from the conversations I've had. We talked about you opening for Sister Hazel. I had the chance to talk to Drew Copeland a few months ago because they have a new album out, and they have, I think, they called the Hazelnuts, their fan base. If we were talking about the fact that they've built this extremely loyal fan base before social media, before all that, and if they hadn't done that, I mean, their longevity would have completely suffered. Because, so I'm going to get back to your point in a second, but it's like, but the algorithm, it doesn't make any sense, right? And so you can't really predict, and you can't count on the fact that if I get X number of streams or likes, it's going to like go to X, Y, and Z. But if you get people to do X, Y, and Z sort of in real life and through whatever, fan newsletters or community events or whatever, then it's like, okay, that's got the power. And he's like, yeah, like we would have been toast.
Totally. Yeah. Sorry to ramble, but I just recently saw A Complete Unknown, Bob Dylan movie. And part of me was like, can you imagine this guy like opening his phone and doing a live on Instagram?
That's
like
a great point.
It would never happen.
That's a great point.
So yeah, that's just, I guess, how I think. But
Well, so back to your point though, I was talking to Bradley Cole Smith yesterday. He's in Atlanta, and I wasn't giving him a hard time, but I was like, you don't have millions of followers, right? Spotify followers, but the level of engagement, anytime I post something that he does, it's so much more than everybody else. Sure. And what's wild is I've talked to some people. Actually, there was an artist that has 1 billion streams that I've talked to. It was like a pop song from a few years ago that blew up on TikTok and all those things. And she posts something and she'll get 3 likes.
Right.
And it's just like it doesn't make any sense.
Totally.
And
so I call it like quality over quantity. Because like if you look at the ratio of followers to interaction, I mean, That's kind of the name of the game. It's just an interesting world, and I feel like I sound like I'm like 75 and reading a newspaper or something, but I don't know. It just crosses my mind often because we're more or less forced to be personalities as well as musicians. So
right.
It's just interesting. It really is, like how far it's come.
Yeah. Well, good thing you have your wife to do all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And congrats on the EP.
Thank you very much.
And I would love to hear some of that Motown, Southern rock fusion that you have.
Totally.
Is that cool? All right. Thanks, Alex, for your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, what's up? I'm Alex Rogers, and this song is called Understanding. I released it last October.
The only thing I could ask for is understanding, just some understanding. You'll never know the pain inside my mind. Gets better some days, but I carry it all the time. You'll never see the fear behind my eyes. It's always disguised without fine. Well, I'm not fine in the not so distant past. You love me. Well, it all happened so fast, then you left me. Never could outlive my past. I guess that's on me. Yeah, the only thing I could ask for is understanding, just some understanding. You always put your heart right on the line. I never could seem to swallow my pride. You never gave reason to doubt. That you love me. Well, I love you, I just didn't know how. In the not so distant past, you loved me. Well, it all happened so fast, then you left me. Never could outlive my past. I guess that's on me. Yeah, the only thing I could ask for is understanding, just some understanding.